went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June, 1862 on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Bamberley's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bleeding.
You're watching Toon Army TV. This is your Brighton versus Newcastle United match preview. It's down at the Amex Stadium. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League and it's live on TV. This is going to be a quick, straight to the point match preview. No messing around. If you're a Brighton fan watching, I will talk about you lot in the second part of the preview, so stay tuned. Now, as a Newcastle fan, how do I feel going into the game on Monday evening? Well, like most Newcastle fans, frustrated, angry, tired. Not tired in a physical way, just tired because we're mid-table. It's the same old rubbish. We're still waiting to hear answers from the top in terms of the ownership. Who's going to be the owner next season? Is it going to be Mike Ashley? Is it going to be the takeover of the Saudis? Or is it going to be Henry Maris? This has been dragging out for the past 3-4 months now, and we need to know what the future holds for next season. What's going to happen to players such as Matty Longstaff? Is he going to leave? Because I've heard that the contract that he's been offered is a decent one, but who knows what he's been offered. In my opinion, I think he's worth around 10 to 15 grand a week. I wouldn't be surprised if the club are offering less than that. But at the same time, if Matty Longstaff is going to hold the club to ransom and the club have offered a good contract, then he deserves to go, in my opinion. But no doubt that the lad is a talent. We need to try and get that sorted out as soon as possible. In terms of injuries, we're injury ravaged. We've got next to no players to work with in terms of, especially the defence. That's where our problem lies. We need to know what's going on with Steve Bruce. Is he going to be manager next season, or is it going to be somebody else? Personally, I'd like to think he's done a good job. He's kept the club in the Premier League. The expectations at the start would have been mid-table. What's new there? A cup run in the FA Cup, which was decent, albeit we lost to Manchester City, which is no disgrace, but the way we're set up was quite embarrassing. But there we go. Not really much to dwell on. I think given the job he's done, he deserves at least 6 months on top for next season. I know he's still got 2 years left, and he's been at the club a year now. But I think we need that some sort of stability, and that's what we're looking for right from the top, right the way down to the bottom. We don't even know what players are going to be coming in next season. We haven't even drawn up any plans. We don't know what players are wanting to leave. Personally, there'll be a lot of players I want to just shift on for next season. We don't even know what's going on with the club sponsor. We don't even know what's going on with the manufacturer. That's how bad the communication is at Newcastle United Football Club. And that's why I'm frustrated, because nothing gets done easy. The Premier League and the club need to come out and say something. After the Liverpool game, there's simply no excuse to why this fan base don't get answers. We've got so many questions to answer and none of them are being answered, and we need answers very, very soon and quick. Otherwise, fans will get even more toxic if it hasn't been toxic already, because of what I've seen in the past week. It's been very poor from fans in terms of their opinions better than somebody else's. I think nobody really knows or is clear on what's going on in terms of going forward. But for me, I just want to see some sort of direction where the club can look to the future and get a lot of contract situations sorted out, ownership sorted out. But anyway, we'll move on to the main game on Monday. So we'll talk about my club, Newcastle. Well, we're 13th in the Premier League. We're on 43 points. We're not really going to finish any lower than 14th or 15th unless we lose our last 2 games quite badly. Brighton and Liverpool will last 2 games. And if West Ham and Watford, or even, I wouldn't say Watford now, Brighton pick up more points in those last 2 games. Now, we've lost our last 3 games. We've not won in 4 games since the Bournemouth 4-1 win at the Amex, or down at the Vitality, sorry. It feels like an absolute lifetime ago. And when you're mid-table, as I've said before, with nothing to play for, we don't know what the players' motives are. We don't know what the manager's saying to them. Losing to Man City was poor, 5-0. Watford, 2-1. A game we should have got something from. And Spurs, we lost 3-1, but the performance was better. But what I was really frustrated about, I don't want to use the injuries as an excuse. We played better, but our Achilles heel has been conceding sloppy goals, switching off at crucial times of the game. Spurs, yes, took the lead, but we got a 1-1 equaliser through Matt Ritchie, and we should have kicked on from there. But unfortunately, we didn't. Spurs hit one on the counter-attack, and they scored the second goal. We switched off, and we gave up. And that's been our attitude for most games this season, where we've never really looked like getting back into a match unless we've taken the lead. Now, Spurs, don't get me wrong, weren't great on the day, but they don't have to be because they've got the quality to go forward. They've got the quality to break it down. And with Brighton on Monday, they're going to give an even greater test because they're still mathematically not safe yet in the Premier League. We've never won down at Brighton in terms of the Premier League. We did in the Championship under Rafa Benitez. Who knows, we could change that on Monday night, but I haven't really got too much hope for that win. The formation, Steve Bruce is going with a 4-2-3-1. But then he's been going 4-4-1-1 in previous games, so who knows what he goes with. At this moment in time, I just pass caring, if I'm honest, what he goes with. I just want the season to end. Now, in terms of a starting 11, I'm not really going to predict it because I don't know who's going to be available for the game. We're missing key players such as ASM, who's our most creative player at the club. The last thing we need, we're losing Lejeune, who's not been available for most of the season. We're losing Captain Jamal Lascelles, who's been very solid at the back. We're losing Sean Longstaff, Hayden, Shea. It's getting to the point now where Steve Bruce is panicking and he even has to try and speak to the EFL or the FA to try and get Kel Watts cleared to play because we're injured in so many areas of the pitch and we haven't got many players to choose from. You could blame recruitment, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse to the reason why we're getting injuries. It could just happen because in the restart we had a lot of players to choose from, and now that with the fact we've played games 3-4 days after each other, it can take its toll on you. We're not used to playing competitive games in the summer unless it's like pre-season, but you don't have to go all out. It's been a very long, strange old season, and of course with injuries, that's capped to the reason why we haven't been picking up results. Now Brighton, they're currently 16th in the Premier League. They're on 37 points. They can be caught by Bournemouth and Aston Villa, but they're going to have to win by like 7 or 8 goals in the next 2 games. I would say they are safe, but just to make mathematically sure, they need that extra point, which I think they will get on Monday night. Formation-wise, they go with a 4-4-2 formation, so it's very attacking by Graham Potter. And talking of him, I think he's done a decent job. Brighton fans might have a different opinion, but my expectations for Brighton would be, given where they were maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons ago, they'll take safety in the Premier League for the money, for their area, and the fact that they're 16th in the Premier League. I know they dropped down a place after West Ham's result against Watford. He's done a decent job, you know. He came from Swansea where he was unproven, and like Steve Bruce, he's proved everybody wrong. And who knows what he can do next season if he's backed. And with Brighton, you know, they're going to pose a real threat. He's going to demand a big performance from them, and I believe that'll be their final game of the season. Players to watch out for Brighton, I'm going to say Neil Maupay up front, who the same from Brentford. I wasn't too sure about him, if he could do it in the Premier League, but he's done all right. He's scored a decent amount of goals for them. He's going to be a threat. He's got pace. He's scored against the bigger clubs like Arsenal, so if we're not careful at the back, which is where we're struggling, he might score, hopefully not. Glenn Murray, we know about him. He's an older type player, but that's not to say he's not experienced. He is. He's been around the game a long time. He's not the quickest player, but he can peel off the last man if he's been given the right service. He's great from like set pieces, corners, free kicks. He's great with his head, so do expect that on Monday evening. Trossard, the Belgian right winger, he likes to get forward. He's quite positive on the ball. He can score goals. He can do what's expected of a right winger. He can cut in as well, a bit like St. Maximin. And I also picked out Tariq Lamptey, who's their right back. He's a decent up-and-coming player for Brighton. I think he's either come through the academy, I believe. Let me know down below in the comments, Brighton fans. But from what I've watched of him, he's quite positive. He likes to get forward. He can also track back as well. So he does offer a goal threat going forward to where they get their goals. So that is Brighton's players to watch out for. But in terms of us, it all depends on who Steve Bruce picks. Normally you would pick out the likes of Alan St. Maximin and that, but we can't really say too much at the minute because we don't know what's going on with the squad. Score prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it's going to be a good result for both. Brighton, they'll stay up with that 1-1 draw, and for us, it'll stop the rot of 3 defeats in a row, and let's try and pick up that point to try and put a bit more respect on my name. But yeah, I'll just take that right now on Monday, and I just want the season to end, honestly, I do. I just want to try and move on to next season, and I want answers more than anything. It's just really draining, frustrating. And just before I close, if there's any Leeds fans watching, congratulations on your promotion to the Premier League as well. So if you are new to the channel, please subscribe, please hit the like button, comment down below how you go about the game, your score predictions, and follow me on social media, Toon TV, Instagram and Twitter. Follow me and I'll follow you back, and I'll see you all in the next one. How are the lads?